Welcome to Couch Time with Sonja, the grace season. This episode breaks down the many faces of privilege and double standards in our society, understanding what it is and how it affects so many in various situations and circumstances. Next, social privileges will be explored and how one's access to funds can open doors and worlds that most aren't even aware that exist. And last, male privilege is looked at as the common phrase, equality does not always mean equal. Let's have a real conversation. Let's take it to the couch. Welcome back. Today I have amazing guests sitting with me today on the couch. Have you ever had that question, are double standards really true? The answer is yes, and I have some amazing guests to talk about that today. I have Mr. Darren sitting next to me. I have Rebecca, and I also have T.Y. Today we're going to have an open, honest conversation about double standards. But first, let's find out a little bit about our guest. So Darren, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name's Darren Barnett. I'm 46 years old. I currently serve as a police sergeant with the Texas Southern University Police Department, where I've been for the last 3 years. Prior to that, I was a police officer in Brazoria County, where I was a minority amongst my agency, being the only black police officer serving in the city of Clute for the first 8 years of my career. I currently act as the liaison for Texas Southern University as far as our dignitary security. I've had the pleasures of meeting and providing security for people such as Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Vice President Al Gore, Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Kamala Harris, oh, wow. Houston, rap artist Scarface.
Let's just say you're
Andrew Yang. Yeah, we have a lot of things going on, so I really take pride in what I do.
Thank you for your service. My husband is 34 and a half year retired officer, so thank you for your service.
Him, and thank you for acknowledging. By the way, your husband.
Pretty nice. Cool dude.
Pretty good dude. I liked him. Yeah, you hit it off well.
Awesome. Rebecca, okay. A little bit about you.
Hi, everybody. So I can't top that, but I am a freelance actress, model here in Houston, and I recently started doing music as well, so everything independently. And yeah, other than that, I'm a full-time parent, and I do work a full-time corporate job, so I'm a starving artist.
You're not starving. You're a thriving artist.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, T.Y.?
Well, I'm T.Y. Colic. I'm a family man. I'm an actor. I'm a hip-hop artist. I'm a fitness consultant. And, I'm just a man trying to provide for his family, really, you know what I mean? And trying to get by in this world.
Well, I thank all of you. You see that we have different people. Why? Because we want different opinions and different views. So let's start with some of the questions that our viewers have asked. So, of course, we know that there is kind of what we call privilege everywhere, right? There's double standards, there's privileges, but we're going to talk about three. First one we're going to talk about is white privilege. And, of course, there's many that hate to hear the word, there's white privilege, but it's the truth. Mm-hmm. There's white privilege. So let's kind of talk about that. When you hear the words white privilege, what does that really mean to you? What do you think about when you hear it?
Who are you asking?
Anyone.
A free pass. I'm getting by. Pretty much. I'm mostly white. You know what I'm saying? I got some other things in me, but I mean, I've seen it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I've ever been privileged like that. Because I fall into that category of mostly like the class. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you wasn't rich white, you wasn't getting by. But I've seen it all the time because I know both tracks. I know both sides, you know what I mean? I'm married to a beautiful black woman, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of white people too, right. And I've seen it. I've seen, in my own hometown, I've seen it, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure my wife knows the girl I'm talking about, this white girl. had hit one of our common black girlfriends that was walking down the road in the car, and she was drunk too. And then she got a slap on the hand for it.
So
slap on the hand
we're
for
gonna put a
it.
pin there. That's one of your views.
Yeah.
How about you, Rebecca? Give me a view of what you think white privilege is when you hear it.
White privilege is basically, for example, being in the workplace and having to dress a certain way or downplay certain parts of yourself that your white colleagues don't, just because you don't have the privilege of whiteness.
That's good. How about you?
I mostly view white privilege as, to give an example, since everyone else has, we were all born to run a race. And I think just based on the color of your skin, not just the color of your skin, but also the demographics in which you were born, your community, the economical, the amount of money your family makes, puts you at a particular place, which may be 10 feet ahead of me or an African American, 20 feet in front of an African American, maybe even a yard in front of 10 yards in front of an African American. Then when someone says go, we all have to run this race and get to a certain finish line or a certain destination. And as minorities, not just African people, black people, but brown and yellow people as well, I think that race for us is a little bit harder to run. And we have to work twice as hard to get half as much. So, and that's what I think of when I hear of white privilege.
Hearing the word privilege, many people, well, no, you're not privileged, but it's the truth. We experience it every single day. But you have to have the person that will admit it. You know, that will say, you know what, I do experience it, and I do see it, and it is prevalent. And then how can we address it? You know, also, I'm going to kind of give a few things. It says male privilege. There's male privilege, there is social privilege, and then there's white privilege. So, of course, we've kind of touched on white privilege. This is one question that I want to ask. Why do most white Americans have a hard time acknowledging the benefits that they have just because of the color of their skin? Why do you think it's so hard for them to admit, you know what, this is true, just because of the color of their skin?
What was the question?
Why is it so hard for them to
Why do you think that most white Americans have a hard time acknowledging the benefits that they have by being white?
Because if you acknowledge it, then you have to step back and also acknowledge that maybe you owe something. If you don't want to pay your debt, or you don't want to pay a debt, then you deny that there was a loan in the first place. Being part of the solution is paying something, whether it be through education, funding for lower privileged communities, disadvantaged youth, whether it be investing in community centers, whatever the case may be. It's easier to just ignore the fact that you were privileged or that you had an advantage as opposed to paying for it.
That's good. Anyone else want to just chime in real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in real quick because I know for a fact by a lot of people that, man, some white people are just so hard headed that they don't want to admit they're wrong.
No.
Period.
You know what? That's a good
Period.
point. It's just to say, sometimes it's just hard for people to
It's-
say they're wrong. Let's stop
Yeah.
right there. We have to take a quick commercial break, but what he just said was it's hard sometimes just for you to admit that you're wrong. We'll be right back.
I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja?
Middle school, we can take it further back than that. How many times did your parents say, "Don't do as I do, do as I
that's so
say"?
good.
We've all
Yeah.
experienced
I've been
that.
guilty.
Oh, yeah.
I've
But-
even been guilty
But
as
you
a
were able to
parent.
do that because you had power over your child to do so.
Right.
And it's the same thing in the workforce. No one on a lower level can act in a manner of double standard because you don't have the power over the person in front of you.
I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja? Sometimes you need
Presented by Sincerely Judy. Premieres this January.
For couch time with Sonja.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, we have amazing guests on today, and we are definitely having a great conversation. We have Darren, Rebecca, and TY, and our conversation today is on double standards. Double standards. I want to give you a definition. Double standard, a set of principles that applies differently and usually more rigorously to one group of people or circumstances than to another, especially a code of morals that applies more severe standards of even sexual behavior towards women than to men. We're going to put a pin there because we're going to come back to that one. And then question I like to ask too is, I kind of look at double standard as a hypocrisy. You know, it's kind of like, I'm going to give you that.
That's what it is.
Yes, I'm like, let's be real. Let's cut to the chase with it.
Professional word for hypocrisy.
Yes, come on. It is a professional word. Ooh, girl, come on. You just said that. A professional word for double standard. Double standard is really hypocrisy, but the professional way to put it in the world is a double standard.
Absolutely.
I'm going to read something that says, hypocrisy is the practice of preaching one thing and acting totally different. It is the behavior of people who actually do things which they tell other people not to do. On the contrary, double standards are the practice of unfair application of a single rule on different sets of people. Guys, what we're getting ready to talk about is social privilege. Different sets of people, those who have money and those who don't. There is a different standard. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that. First off, my question to you, TY, would be, growing up, did you see any difference as a child with someone who had great money and lived in a very high standard of living
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to you growing
Oh,
up?
yeah.
Give me just a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, how far back you want me to give you?
Anywhere that you feel comfortable talking
Okay.
about.
Well, I remember when I was in, let's say, junior high. Okay, like all these girls that everybody liked was all rich girls, you know what I mean? And and you had to be of the same standard for them to like you back. This junior high, you know what I mean? Real clicked up. You know, I remember, man, I couldn't get the girl I wanted at the time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't live in no big 2-story house, you know what I mean?
I say that was a point right there from childhood. So that's what I wanted you to speak about. That's what I wanted to get out. From childhood, you saw that, you know what, I couldn't get what I wanted because I didn't live in that certain place.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Rebecca?
Well, I come from a home that's separated. So my parents have been separated pretty much my entire life. And I have cousins, you know, from both sides of my family who are on different socioeconomic levels. So me and my brothers and sisters, we were kind of like the black sheeps, if you will. And we have some cousins who are living at like really high standards, you know, and some that are just, you know, middle class. But it would always get awkward sometimes, like when they would come visit us or like see how we live. Wait, where do we actually live? Who do we actually stay with? And a lot of it did kind of boil down to socioeconomic status because of the separation that kind of like put a damper on my parent, you know, the one that I was with, my mom. So it was awkward, and it was almost like on certain subjects, me and those cousins couldn't really relate.
Yeah.
That's another good point right there. You couldn't relate. So not only was it bred from beginning, from a child, then you get to the point where you feel like you can't relate. How about you, Darren?
I think the thing to remember is that in order to enforce the double standards, you have to be empowered to do so. And that goes all the way back to what I was talking about, middle school. We can take it further back than that. How many times did your parents say, "Don't do as I do, do as I
that's
say"?
so good.
We've all
Yeah.
I've
experienced
been
that.
guilty.
Oh, yeah.
I've
But-
even been guilty
But
as
you
a
were able to
parent.
do that because you had power over your child to do so.
Right.
And it's the same thing in the workforce. No one on a lower level can enforce act in a manner of double standard because you don't have the power over the person in front of you. That's why we have to really. That's why we have laws right now to kind of provide
Balance.
check and balance for such situations such as double standards.
Right. Well, right now, we're in this, of course, we're in this climate,
Of
this
course.
world. I'm just going to call it a climate.
Yeah.
And everyone is being looked at literally by the way that you live or the money that you have. But that's so sad. Why do we do that? Just because you have a certain amount of money doesn't mean that it makes you a good person or it makes
No, it
you be the
doesn't.
best person for whatever position, job,
Right.
anything. It doesn't mean that you're the best person just because you have the money.
But with that money comes a sense of entitlement.
Status.
It does.
Boy, right there, right there, right there.
And it's literally just a sense. You're no better than I am because you made more money than I am, and I'm no better than you are because I made more money than you are. But the sense of privilege and entitlement and empowerment that comes with those finances
That's good, Darren.
is what brings it all to the forefront.
You know what? Hearing someone talk down on someone else because they don't have what they have, it is sad to even hear someone say, well, you only belong in this class because you live in this house or you drive this certain car, but you have no clue their story.
true.
You have no clue what
Yes.
they have done
Oh, yeah.
or had to do to get to where they are. We have to stop
Right.
putting our mouth on people
Oh, yeah.
because of where they live.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I was familiar.
Let's
I
just
was,
be
I was
real.
real familiar with that.
That's
Let me
real.
tell you, I was real familiar with that. You know what I mean? All these people wearing polos and Tommy Hilfigers back in the day, you know. And I'm shopping at Walmart and Mervyn's, man. They didn't want to be my friend. 'Cause I can't match their clothes.
Mervyn's, I remember.
You know what I'm saying? I
know-
couldn't match their clothes, so I wasn't
But
their
I can't
friend,
lie,
really.
I'm
You know
tell
what I
y'all,
mean?
I'm gonna tell y'all real up, straight up. I love Mervyn.
Yeah, me too. I did too. Yeah.
You know
was
what's
in and out of
interesting
there.
though? If you go to Third Ward, you drive through the area of Third Ward, you will see homes worth $4 or $5 million, and then you turn one corner, and you're subject to see a home that looks like it's barely hanging on,
Barely making it.
You know, so and those are all our people. So you know, it's incumbent upon us to see that brother or that sister that's barely getting by, as opposed to that brother or that sister that's living in that $4 million home, and say, hey, we're all the same.
Well, one thing too, I want to ask you, Rebecca, don't you think there's a ways that we could help people, not give them a hand out, but give them a hand up?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think there's ways that we could give them a hand up to help them get out of their economic system?
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
most definitely. Just being able to help each other, like, hey, I'll write your resume for you. You know, what is it that you do? What are you looking for? Okay, send me your information. I'm going to write it for you. I'm going to help you. Help them apply for jobs, things like that. Even if they might not have a bachelor's degree, or it doesn't matter. You can work in a warehouse at 17 an hour, you know?
So good.
Yeah.
What you hear her saying is to help. We have to be a part of the solution and not the problem. So we have to open our mouths. We have to reach our hand out and give people a hand up, and sometimes stop suppressing those that we care about or those that are around us. We'll be right back.
I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja?
Men, it's easy for them to get promoted in a job. They're working hard and showing what they can do. Like sometimes with women, you never know the nature of what the people's about. The boss might want something extra. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way they moving up in the damn thing.
I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja? Sometimes you need to
Let's be honest. Making a lukewarm marketing video is fairly simple. But who wants lukewarm marketing? Instead, how about something that conveys your unique message? Well, that takes creativity, and creative is what we are. We design custom logos. We even offer professional print services. Our goal is to showcase how good your idea is, no matter what your product is. Whether it's social media marketing for a new author or the artwork for the book itself, we can help. You've created a new app and need a TV commercial to show it to the world. We can help.
Now they're Stork Advisor.
If you're a photographer trying to show off your work in a unique way, we can help. Need a promo for your TV show? We can help with that too.
It's Couch Time with Sonja.
We're an artistic bunch and we love the creative process. We're not trying to be the best in Houston. We're trying to be the best for you.
Love, I'm faded on this love. Please don't kill my, please don't kill my. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja?
Welcome back. I sure hope you are enjoying this conversation because I am. I kind of I got the coolest people on the couch with me today, and they're being open and honest. I hope you're sitting there yourself going, they're right, and maybe even looking at your own self for some of the things that we're talking about. But in this third segment, of course, because I'm a female, this is one that I'm very excited to talk about, and it is male privilege. Rebecca and I know that we're going to have some things to say, but these guys are also going to have some things to come back with. So let's talk about male privilege. Let's just be honest. In this world today, we are truly in a society. It is a male-driven world. Am I right or am I wrong?
Oh, you're right.
Hey, and I got a man that's agreeing.
Thank you for
Okay, come on, Darren. Let me see.
I would say you're correct, but things are changing rapidly. I would say that.
I agree. Look, I love the way both of them, they're right. It is a male-driven. But women, we're rising up. We're rising up.
Yes.
But I think we're rising as well because we finally realize who we are and the power that we have within us. Would you agree with that, Rebecca?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I can attest to that for sure.
Yeah. Give me some examples that you think men, and I want to hear from you because there's some men who will never admit what you just admitted on camera. They'll never admit that it is a male-driven world. Give me some examples, whether it's in your family life or even in your professional life, that you've seen where it's male privilege and that you've had to look at it yourself and go, that was wrong. Give me an example. Either one of you.
See why you could take this one.
Look, he's like, I'm not going there.
How about I can go deeper than that? Something that's not even in my life. Something that doesn't have to do with me. Okay? And it has to do with all of America. Okay? And I don't want to get political. I'm not going to get political.
No, we sure don't.
Okay? But did y'all know that y'all didn't have to vote for any of them two clowns? There's a woman named Jo Jorgensen that's really going hard that nobody even knew.
This is what I tell you.
You know what I mean?
You vote for whomever you choose to vote for. It is your choice, period. All I ask you is get educated. Now let's go back
Exactly.
to the discussion that we were talking about is looking at the male privilege. It is prevalent, but there are examples. And if you don't have an example, I have one. But I'm wanting it to come from a male.
I mean, we can go back to 2016. I was on a ballot. We can look at how, hated Hillary Clinton was, not just amongst men, but other women. And the mindset as Americans is that for the last, 40, up to them, he had 44 presidents of the 43 presidents of the United States, and every one of them was a man. And with an exception of one, all of them were white men. So I think part of that is based upon we don't want change. In our subconscious, we might speak about it, but there's something probably within inside of most people that say, you know what, if we continue on a path where we're on and we don't rock the boat and we don't change things up, we're safe.
That's good. That's good. What I've noticed in corporate America, especially being a retired nurse and coming into corporate, even in the industry I'm in now, even in the media industry, there is so much male privilege. It's pay. We don't get paid the same.
That's the truth.
Compare the same jobs. Compare. You will not see the exact same pay. Also, there's a different standard. The opportunities that are opened and available to females, a lot less than to male.
Oh, yeah. Look, I could tell you something. Okay. Like, men, it's easy for them to get promoted in a job. They're working hard and showing what they can do. Like, sometimes with women, you never know the nature of what the people's about. The boss might want something extra. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way they moving up in the damn thing. Excuse my language.
Which is sad
You know what I
to
mean?
say. but
I've
come
gone
on,
through
Rebecca,
that
talk about
actually.
that.
I'm
You know?
glad that you said that.
Yes.
So, with my previous job, which I can speak freely on because I was laid off, so I was one of the top performers. Not to brag, but I was, and it was just like anytime I opened my mouth, I was on my period. I was being bitchy. Oh, I can't believe somebody so beautiful is that mean. I can't believe, and I was always like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm a bitch. It was sad that I had to. And with what you said,
I'm going to correct you on that part.
okay.
And the reason I'm going to say is don't allow someone to call you that,
right.
but then don't call yourself that either.
Yeah, but it
Because,
felt like
no, you're not. You might be being strong. You might be being very opinionated, but no, you're not that word.
See,
Thank
I
you.
think a little different from me. I kind of view things a little differently because, first of all, I'm a progressive. I work for a police department that has a black female chief of police. The second in command is a man, and the third in command is another black female captain of police. And I was married for 22 years. Anybody that's been married, your wife runs the household. So it's pretty much, So when you look at male privilege, I acknowledge that it exists. But as a progressive, I kind of surround myself, and I'm in a world of people who accept women for who they are as equals, and not only just accept them, but actually celebrate that
Yes.
and push them to be the very best that they can
That's
be.
awesome.
Yes,
So
that is awesome. But that doesn't happen everywhere.
it doesn't. I have to
What
acknowledge.
Rebecca was walking through, she didn't get to experience that.
Well, one of my colleagues, when I used to always go to work with very, basic, not too much makeup, and one day I came from a shoot, so I had full face of makeup on. I used to wash my face before, but I didn't have time that day. I had a full face of makeup on, and it was just like everybody stopped. It was like, a big deal. And then one of my colleagues was like, you should do this more often. I'm sure you'll get promoted.
Wow, how sad. How sad.
That
how
is sad.
Yeah.
Because what you did is you automatically stereotyped.
My work spoke for itself. My work was impeccable. I shouldn't have had to wear a ton of makeup.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And I want to say too, this is, we have so much we could say. We really need more than just one episode to even touch the surface of this conversation. But I do want to say, if you are living and you have a mentality of I'm privileged, I would encourage you to take a good self-look, to truly look within you, because I think we all have to do that, is look within ourselves. Privilege, we should be privileged that we're living, period. That's our privilege. We're living. Other than that, we should try to co-inhabit. We should try to live together and to live in unity, period. There shouldn't be a difference like it is in the world today. I hope and pray that this entire segment and these amazing guests being open and honest, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And I'm going to also say, hey, I love the fact that they're real. And I hope that you're real with you as well. I'll see you next time on Couch Time with Sonja. Have a great one.
I'm ready for this. Are you ready?